How was your day today?
Should be live now.
You guys
good.
make
Good.
money?
Still at
You guys
work.
make money today?
Try.
No, but I got talked over there.
So yeah, Oscar, once we go live, we're
How
live
was
on
your day
Instagram.
today?
We're live now, right? Live.
I'm about to go live on Instagram right now.
You
So
guys make money?
Still at
You guys
work.
make
put your
money
best
today?
face on. Okay.
Try.
5 seconds.
No, but I got talked over
Oscar, like a baby.
So yeah, Oscar, once we go live, we're
there. How
live
was
on
your day
Instagram.
today?
We're live now, right? Live.
I'm about to go live on Instagram right
You
now.
guys make money?
You're live, Melanie.
Best
Yours.
face on.
Nice.
All right, we have some people joining.
We're on, guys. No, but I think you
Up.
can take it from your Instagram.
Now we're live on Instagram.
Today.
We're live now. Give me all the info for your Instagram.
Go live on Instagram right now. Okay.
Awesome.
Can you guys hear me well?
I can
Yes,
hear you.
we can.
So Mel,
We
I think
can.
that it's live on your Instagram. All the info you gave me was yours, not Dental Talk. But that's fine.
I'm going to save it. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
It'll be posted on Dental Talk. All right. So we have everyone here and Dr. Dean.
I'm here. Sorry. All right, guys.
I think it signals a little bad. Fetty, you stuck in traffic or you outside your house?
I'm stuck in traffic.
Thank you to everyone who's joining right
Turnpike
now.
traffic or
We're about
95
to
traffic?
start. We have a few people join. We already have like a decent amount of people in here, so it gives us a moment. Okay, Dr. Dean, you have good service?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being our guest on Dental Talk 360. We're really excited to talk about FMR and also briefly talk about your path into dentistry. And we really want to hear about your first introduction to cosmetics and what inspired you to start FMR.
So, what happened was the first 15 years I got out of prosthodontic training, and what happened was I was very closed into the mindset of prosthodontics and trying to be something that I wasn't. And that was 15 years of kind of like a little bit of mental torture, which I'm sure the young dentists are going through right now. Everybody wants to be a hero overnight, and it just doesn't happen that way. So what happened for me is I understand occlusion. I understood implants. We did implants in 1991. I didn't really understand aesthetics. So aesthetics wasn't really popular in the 90s, except for Dr. Larry Rosenthal. So after 15 years of torturing myself with prosthodontic training and I was successful, but I wasn't really doing beautiful cosmetic dentistry. So what happened was I actually accidentally met Dr. Rosenthal in NYU, and there was a situation where they needed some help with some implant stuff. And someone reached out to me, and I went down to the clinic. They were doing their Aesthetic Advantage course, which is still going on after 25 years, which I highly recommend, by the way, with FMR and Aesthetic Advantage and John Coy. So those are the 3 courses right now that I would recommend. But what happened was I saw Larry's approach to dentistry, and then I realized, wait a minute, I can do that. And all of a sudden, the light bulb clicked. The music went from classical music to hip hop, from Mozart to 50 Cent, right? And my whole attitude just changed. And really, Larry opened up my whole world to aesthetic dentistry that I didn't even know existed. But I knew how to make temps. I knew how to make, beautiful occlusions and get my occlusion right, my implants. And that's when FMR started. It was 15 years ago when I said, wait a minute. It's not just aesthetics. It's not just occlusion. It's not just implants. It's these 3 things together every day, as opposed to I have a cosmetic practice, or I have an implant practice, or I have a prosthodontic practice, or I have an occlusion practice. And of course, we know that in dentistry, generally, nobody knows about occlusion. It's a lost like foggy, foggy thing that people go like, I don't know what it really means. Because the way it was taught and the way it's still taught in dental school, I have all the notes from 3 dental schools on occlusion, and the occlusion is not taught the way it's supposed to be practical. It's taught in theory. So
Right.
no wonder everybody's really confused about occlusion because they never really understood it. They think it's Dummel and Buttle and all this other crazy stuff. So I realized that, and I had over, I don't know, about 200 pages, of documentation that I wrote in 15 years that I all of a sudden started to say, wait a minute, we have something here that's special. So I went to NYU. I said, let's start this course. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Nobody ever did this before. And they had a lot of doubts, and everybody had doubts, and everybody was haters, and all that stuff happened. And after our first course, we had 7 doctors. The second year, we had 13. And the fourth year, we sold out within 3 months. And we're literally selling out. Now the occlusion course gets sold out like, in about 5-6 months before their course starts. I mean, then we started the 4-day course, which was for people not in New York City, because it really is originally you had to have a New York license to start FMR. And then we started the 4-day course for people out of town, which turned into a great success. We do that twice a year. And then now I'm at NSU, and now we're going to go to Florida. So my next move is to go to NSU and do FMR 4-day course at NSU. And now with the help of Dr. Sanchez and Dr. Freddy in Dale Ray, I want to do it in Miami. I want to do 4 days in Miami for people in that Southern America, Mexico, Florida, Georgia section, and really bring it to life. But listen, at the end of the day, it's about the testimonials of the doctors that have taken the course for over the last 15 years. And now some of them are faculty. It's the testimonials that really keep me going. People are like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep doing this? When I get an email and says, I just did this case, I followed your cookbook approach to FMR, I followed the technique, I followed the sequence and the recipe, and this is the case I did. I've never done this before. And now it's like I'm selling cases all over because they see it. What we teach is practical, right brain philosophy of artistic dentistry, and then understanding the whole mouth.
Right.
So yes, Rosenthal teaches aesthetics. There's a lot of great implant courses, but we teach comprehensive full mouth rehabilitation that, 5 years out, just coming out of school, anybody can do it if you just follow the way we do it. And I'm sure, and I know Oscar's been there with us for many years, that it's just a testimony of what we do. And that's really what makes me keep going back. But Larry was the original initiator to my aesthetic career. And I was very fortunate, which is very rare, to work with him. And by the way, I was there in 2004 when Dr. Appa started out of dental school. So I've taught him the first 4 years out of his school. So we were great collaborators, Rosenthal, Appa, and myself, 15 years ago, to get him on the right track. And when Larry said, you got to join my team, I said, Larry, I love you, but it's been 4 years. I think Mike's going to do great. He's an amazing dentist. He's a great personality. He's really what your future was. And it was true. I saw it clearly. My future was not with Rosenthal. Mike's future was 100% with Rosenthal. And that's why he became who he became, because he took the Rosenthal philosophy and just totally brought it to a new realm. And, God bless him. We're still buddies. We're still friends. We had a lot of great times together, and we still talk. And he's actually doing our course next week at FMR 4-day course at NYU. He's coming in and graciously giving us his attention, which is very rare for him to give a lecture. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't like doing it, but he's doing it for me. We're close friends, and again, I love him so much. And what he's done for dentistry, I mean, for the public awareness of porcelain veneers and smile makeovers, we would never be doing what we're doing now without Mike Appa. So let's make that very clear. Without Rosenthal and Appa, we would not be able to do the aesthetic dentistry that we are doing, and the patience to say, I want that kind of a smile. It's just a great thing that they've done for dentistry, and I thank them every day.
There's certainly pioneers in the industry of cosmetics, and when we go to school, we think we're taught comprehensively, and we are taught the basics, but we can all attest for this. No matter where you're practicing, you're bound to encounter a full mouth rehabilitation case. And if you don't know how to conquer it, the longevity of it can affect your career. And that's something that we all have
100%
experienced at some point. So it's really great what you're doing. And I think that, everything that you're teaching is going to go very far, because whenever someone takes your course, they get inspired to then have other people learn the right way of dentistry. And I think you're just doing something absolutely amazing in the field of dentistry. So we thank you for that. I think a lot of this has to do with single tooth versus comprehensive dentistry and the thought process behind it. Oscar, Dr. Fetty, Dr. Barton Santos, we all think comprehensively as dentists. And I think you guys can all attest to this. I'm just curious, your first interaction with your first FMR patient, were you ready to handle it? If so, what made you ready? Were you not ready? I just want to hear about everyone's experience.
So I want to talk a little bit about what FMR has. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So FMR, I was introduced to FMR actually by Dr. Alfredo, and he was kind of like the one that kind of guided me since the beginning of my career. I was very lucky to have him in my life. So thank you for that. FMR for me, I like to call it sexy dentistry. So it is something that it is, it's not your everyday dentistry where you're doing single teeth or you're doing a full set of veneers. It's like you're able to take a patient from a case that everyone in school will tell you, do not do this. This is wrong. You cannot open a bite. This will fail. And then Dr. Dean has put it into a way that you feel comfortable and confident into approaching these cases. And also the support group that FMR has. It's not just a course that you go take it and you leave and that's it. Like we have a group chat with over 500 dentists and everybody posts cases. Dr. Dean can link you with people that are in your area, and it's like a family. Like once you're part of FMR, you're part of this new dentistry, and then you're able to tackle these cases and do it with people that will be there helping you. For example, my first case, I did it with Dr. Fetty. We did it on a Saturday. He told me, you're going to be all day doing this case. You don't want to have anything else. You're going to concentrate on this. And he sat with me for 8 hours, not getting paid, just literally just helping me out, having me go through the whole case while he was just waiting for me to, anytime that I needed help, he would jump in, and he guided the whole case and he showed me what could be done. That was what helped me to take off. And from there, I started doing my own cases. I finished at level 1. I finished at level 2. I'm constantly involved in the courses, and I'm very thankful, that I met you, Dean, and you're bringing it to Miami, and that you're considering having us in the course. And, it's something that it's like, once you're part of this family, you're part of a new world of dentistry. And like I said, it is a sexy dentistry. You're going to be very grateful once you finish a case.
I like that. I like that, Oscar.
It is.
I like that,
it
Oscar.
is.
That's a good. That's a good way to look at it. A good way to look at it, because listen, what's sexy? It's exciting. It's fun. We have a good time. The patients are happy. The doctors are happy. The assistants are happy. And the way we do it, again, when we have doctors watching, tomorrow we have our FMR Fridays. And also I wanted to share, at some point, I'll share the QR code with you, Oscar, and you can bring it to your people. You can put it on your website, and they'll be able to kind of jump on the WhatsApp list. And the way we did the WhatsApp list, it's an important part. I want people to know about it. When you're in trouble and you got a case, or you have an implant, or you have something that you just don't know what to do, or there's a new product that comes out, or the patient's upset, or you're buying a practice, so many things on WhatsApp get posted. I need a new lawyer. I need an accountant. I need a builder. I need an IT guy from my office, So, it's not just dentistry. It's really, like you said, it's a family of people that just kind of help people. Like, nobody's getting paid. It's not, there's no underlying theme. It's just everybody needs help, including myself. And if we can have a group, if everybody can help each other, you can have a resource that I don't know about. And all of a sudden, a patient's moving to Miami and I need a temp re-cemented, or they're going to Alaska, or they're going to San Francisco. Country that can really help us, help the patient. At the end of the day, you're helping the patient. Early in my teaching career, that I can't treat everybody and I can't help everybody, but if I can help all the dentists help their patients, then I made a difference to our society. And that's really what FMR started with. It's just helping other people become better.
And that's a trickle down effect, when you're able to, for example, you helped me through the COVID period. I had the one thing I look forward to is taking the FMR Fridays that we all did during COVID together.
That was great. Let me
And
tell you,
it
that was crazy. That was insane time for me. But let me tell you what happened. I'm sitting on the couch for a month and I'm like, this is awesome. I don't have to work for a month. And then the second month, I was like, I'm bored out of my mind. Now I had 25 presentations in the books. We're talking about major programs that all got canceled. And I'm sitting, it must have been 1 o'clock in the morning drinking tequila. And I'm with my son and his friend. It's a true story. And he says to me, Dr. Dean, what are you going to do with all these lectures? I go, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling very like, I got to do something. I don't know what to do. He goes, why don't you go on Zoom? I go, what the hell is Zoom? He goes, it's this thing that you go on and I go, that's not going to work. He goes, yeah, we go on with school. We do it every day. I go, let me see it. He literally 1 o'clock in the morning, he's going, and we're all tequila'd out, right? We're all done. And he's showing me this thing. I go, I don't know. I guess I could figure this out. I said, all right, let's try it. We'll go on Instagram. I go, hi, we're going to go on Zoom on Wednesday at like 5 o'clock. Anybody want to join? I can't even tell you that it started with 19 people. And in 2 months, it was 350 people.
I remember
in 13 countries.
people.
Alfredo, you were on that too? I was on that too.
Yeah. Hey.
I put a slide
Yeah.
up. I put a slide up. There was 350 people on the chat, and my son is looking at me. He goes, "You have 350 doctors around the world?" I go, "Yeah." And there's 13 countries and like 30 cities around the U.S. And I'm like, "This is insane." And everybody kept saying, I mean, there's people with babies. People were pregnant. They were having FMR babies. It was like you said, it was funny. It was crazy. But you know what? It really helped these people get through this crazy time. And I felt like I was giving them some kind of information. I made it funny. I made it exciting. And everybody's like,
and you went through all the stages. You went through all the levels. Because if you stayed on,
no, you stayed on. Yeah.
You know, I stayed on through all the Fridays, and we went through all the levels. But it was that education that inspired me and helped me become a better mentor to Oscar and other doctors as well. So it's a trickle-down effect, Dr. Dean, that FMR is done.
You know what? I can't even fathom the people that I reached at that moment in time. Because the next year, when everybody came to back from COVID and came to the courses, they're like, I've been watching you for a year. They want to give me a hug. Like, you're so cool. He goes, my husband loves you. I go, what do you mean? He goes, every day I'd sit there. She goes, who is this guy? This guy's really funny. So like non-dentists were kind of watching. Parents were watching. Brothers, sisters were like, who's this guy? He's so funny. So I had to make it like crazy and funny and exciting for people just to stay alert, because I did like 2 other programs with 2 other doctors, and they were periodontists, and the other guy was an orthodontist, and it sounded like this. We're going to take the tooth out, and we're going to take the implant. And everybody, literally, there was people on the Zoom like this, with their mouth open, sleeping. And I said to the lady who's in charge, I said, you got to do me a favor. You got to put me last. He's like, no, you're the highlight. We want to put you first. I go, no. Put me last. Because I knew the other guys would be so dead and everybody be waiting. So I get on and I'm like, hey guys, this is what we're going to do today. And I start yelling and screaming. And the lady goes like, oh my God, you were great. We want you back. So people started telling me, I got to go to see Dr. Dean because these other guys are boring. They're just boring dentists. And that really catapulted us into doing our 25 session series. And then I said to everybody, I said, listen, I'm spending 8 hours for the 1 hour lecture that I'm giving you guys. And I gotta have a team here, and I just want to pay the boys here. So I said, let's just charge like $30 an hour, whatever, just to kind of cover the cost and everything. And it was nice. It was very nice. It
was well worth the cost at the time, and it's even invaluable. It was incredible because think about, I sat there with Oscar for one patient. Now all these patients later, that was helped by that one series, and it's just imagine so many lives, 350 people. So that's just so many patients that we've touched.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. We're taking those sessions and all the sessions from this Friday, which will be about about 50 hours, and then they're about 80 hours of education. And we're starting by March, April, we're going to have an online education of all those courses that were given through COVID.
That's
because
awesome.
I feel like you feel, it changed a lot of people's lives, and I don't want to just let it go. I want to make it something that's available for other doctors. Think about the doctors in Europe and Australia and in Spain and in India and in China who don't have this. What about those people? Would they pay $10, $20 an hour just to see and learn some other stuff? So we're going to take that to that global level. We're working on this website. It's going to cost a lot of money to start, but I don't care. I wanted to bring it to the publication of dentistry, and so that's my vision for next year.
That's wonderful. Dr. Dean, we have a lot of dentists live watching this right now, and I wanted to get a little bit more into occlusion because a lot of dentists might not know the details, and I think you would be the best person to ask. How can a lack of knowledge or acknowledgement of occlusion negatively impact a patient's dental treatment, and what are some examples that you've experienced in your career?
Well, I think the reality is 95% of dentists, just were not taught, and maybe they don't really care to do it, and they just kind of do their dentistry. So they'll put in a crown, and that crown may come off in about a year or 6 months because the occlusion was not taken care of. They may do a root canal on the patient because the root canal is hurting, and they'll do the root canal successfully, but the real problem is the occlusion, and therefore the patient will come back and say, hey, you did the root canal, I'm not in pain, but I'm still sore because the bite is still off. Or I have a patient who's got a deep bite, they do a crown for them or bonding, and then they break it because their bite is deep. Or they're missing teeth for 5 years, the upper teeth extrude down. I've seen this a lot. They put an implant in, and they send it to the surgeon. The surgeon puts 2 implants in on 30 and 31, and there's no room to restore it because the upper teeth extruded. They have 4 millimeters to restore a tooth, and they didn't recognize it in the beginning and say, wait a minute, I got to either bring up the upper teeth or I got to change your occlusion. So you're talking about, this happens every day to dentists. Yeah. They're trying to put a bridge in, they're trying to put a crown in, they're trying to put a bonding in, and it just keeps breaking or they're hurting. That's all occlusion. It's all occlusion related. So once you see the system, once you see that the system is not working, and now I can tell the patient, listen, I could put this crown in, but I can't guarantee it. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, your bite is so bad that I'm going to put this little short prep of 4 millimeter tooth, and I can't guarantee it. And they're like, well, what do you mean you can't guarantee it? Well, your system, your bite, your occlusion is off. So you have to use words. It's very important to use words to these patients that they can understand. Your system is not working. It's like a bad tire. Your axle's not working. Your house doesn't have good foundation. You got to relate to the patient, because when you start talking about bicuspid and trifurcation and buccal cusp and lingual cusp, they don't understand what you're saying. You got to bring it into life terms, such as a house, a car, something that needs stability, changing their position. Don't you grind? Yes, I grind. Look at your teeth. Look at the photograph. So there's a lot of education just to communicate the fact. Because remember, they're coming in for one tooth, and now you're going to sell them a full upper and lower case. How do you do that? Well, the only way to do that is to understand what you're saying, to communicate them, show them the possibilities of what you can do. I have befores and afters all the time, and I always tell my doctors, take my befores and afters. I don't have a problem with you using my befores and afters to teach your patients. Don't post it that it's your case, but use my befores and afters but that happens all the time. I caught a whole bunch of people doing that, and I had to send them letters to lawyers.
Next, Dr. Dean. So.
Yeah, I know. I send them letters. They take it down. As long as they take it down, I don't have a problem. Everybody makes a mistake, but you can use the photos for education of your consultation. There's nothing wrong with that. Take the photo and say, look, this is what we can do for you, but this is what you need. And well, how much is that? Well, that's $40,000. Well, I don't have that kind of money. Okay, you can't do it, but I can't guarantee this crown. When you're ready, we can do one arch this year. We can do one arch next year. But you have an occlusal problem. That's why the bridge is breaking. That's why my work can't work. Even if I'm doing the work, I can't make it work in a bad system. It's not going to work. So I either don't do the case and I say, I'm not putting this crown into this bridging, and the patient leaves, or I educate him enough to the point to say, okay, just put it in temporarily, and then I got to think about this. So a lot of it is confidence. A lot of it is having the comfort to discuss these things that way. And that's really where what we do, our philosophy of our occlusion is a full day of philosophy of just how to speak to patients. I'm just going to give you an example. We have a group down in Tampa right now. Sorry, there's a whole bunch of police over here. We have a group in Tampa right now, 21 doctors. They are very successful dentists. They're doing $1.5 million to $3 million. These are successful dentists, right? They got their hygiene down. They got their systems down. They got their associates down. Guess what? They're not doing FMR. They saw what I was doing, and I showed them. Now we spent about 9 months together now on an 8-day course. The one guy said, Dr. Dean, I'm doing $3 million. I thought I was successful. Guess what I'm doing? I'm doing $4 million now, and I'm so happy. Like, I'm happier because I know I'm doing different cases. And they're posting it to me, and they're showing me their befores and afters. And one lady took a video with her patient and says, I didn't know this was available. I didn't know that you can do this. And the doctor's like, I've been practicing for 15 years. I didn't know I can do this because they told me not to change the bite. And I would put these people in, in onlays and try to like fix them with bite plates, and I could never treat them. And now you're showing me how to do it, and I'm so thankful. I mean, that just breaks your heart. I mean, it's just a beautiful testimonial like that. So I know the powerful thing of it's not just veneers. That's level 1. There's 10 more levels of FMR education. So it's not just veneer. Veneers is just, nice young patients getting veneers done. We're talking about occlusal disease. We're talking about changing vertical dimensions, getting the patient back to a functional position. I just gave this lady back her bite. I said, I'm going to give you back your bite. She goes, I've been grinding my whole life. She's 45 years old. Beautiful girl. 45 years old, worn dentition. Okay? Because she had braces and all that whole thing. And they take out premolars, they screw up the whole bite. So she was like, oh my God, my bite is back. I can't believe I'm eating normal again. So it's these testimonials that keep me going and realizing that, you know what? There's a lot to learn. There's a lot we don't know. And everybody's got to come together and help each other out. So that's my philosophy. That's my mantra.
And it's spatially driven aesthetics, Dr. Dean. You, by raising her bite, have then coincidentally done a pseudo facelift as well, because now you're changing the lower third of her face, which was collapsed.
Yeah.
And now the person looks better, feels better, confidence, that exudes happiness. And it's amazing the little things that we could do, the nuances and the details that go into this work that could really change somebody and change their lives. And that's really what FMR is about. I feel like it's truly changing the lives of our patients for the better by allowing them to see the possibilities and what we can do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of docs out there that if you don't know what you don't know, and unless they're really into CE and wanting to better themselves and invest in themselves, then that's different. But if you really want to make a change in our patients' lives and in our own dentistry for fulfillment, I think it's a no-brainer to go an FMR route, to learn how to truly be able to diagnose, treat, and take care of and manage all of your patients within this scope, which is a holistic, comprehensive approach.
Love that. Dr. Dean, actually, this is for everyone. I want to talk more about marketing, social media, because patients often search for a dentist when they're looking for cosmetics such as veneers, crowns, etc. And there's great variety behind what we see on social media sometimes. So how could you advise prospective patients to differentiate between that Instagram versus reality type of dentistry when it's of quality?
I think that's impossible.
It's impossible.
I think it's impossible. It's so hard, man. I'm impressed with so many. I'm impressed with like, wow, this guy's really good. This guy's doing some beautiful dentistry. And I go, let me reach out to them. And then I find out they have like an office, I don't know, in like Wichita, Kansas, and like you can't even get to them, or they're using a lab inside somewhere that you can't get to. It's something weird. It's like either you can't get to them, their friends is a lab technician, but you can't really tell. I mean, the Instagram right now, it's just I think the trickle down. Listen, at the end of the day, patients will find the right dentist. They'll go reach out. They'll see the okay, it's great work, beautiful office. Okay, the guy's really nice. And then all of a sudden the staff's like, no good. The staff's messed up. And they kind of get a feel like this is the wrong place. So I think eventually people find out. One thing I will tell, this is what I'm going to tell young dentists with the whole social media thing. Take your photos, get your camera, definitely post what you do. Definitely take photos of what you do. 100%. Love that. Number 2, be honest. Say this case, I see these people. I posted this case I did today. I want to see the case in 5 years. Show me the case in 5 years. I show cases 12 years out. I just posted like 2 months ago, 26-year-old case. So take your pictures now. Start taking your photos. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Just show your befores, after. Show your talent, definitely. But just be honest about it. Just be honest about it. And most people aren't. Most people are showing other people's cases and say, this is what I did today. Everybody's running to kind of chase everybody else. And that if you ever really understand that, it's a whole psychological problem, but that's okay. I'm not going to get into that. But the reality, it's called an infinite game. The infinite game was taught by Simon Sinek. And the infinite game says you can be in the game as long as you want. There's no winners, there's no losers, right? Nobody's winning, nobody's losing. There's no set grounds of nobody's winning and beating somebody else out. It says, is your Instagram, is your social media getting you new patients? And do you have an office to support that? Awesome. Do you have the staff to support what you're saying? Great. Then you're on the right page. But if you're going to post something and have an office that's, not up to technology, you don't have the training, somebody helped you with the case, you really didn't do the case, then you're falsifying everything, and eventually all that stuff comes out. Now, you want to promote yourself as a photographer? I have no problem with that. Do what you do. Love what you do. Make it creative. That's beautiful. I have no problem with that. It's awesome. But just be honest with your patients. Just be honest. There's 3 rules that I have in my office with our staff. It's number 1, be honest. Number 2, be honorable. Be an honorable dentist that you can honor your stuff if something goes wrong. Be humble. My doctors, I never tell them I'm the best. No, man, there's nobody the best. There's no best in dentistry. Even my patients said, oh, Dr. Dean, you're the best. I said, I'm not the best. I'm like top 2%, right? I'm the top 2%. I don't know who's the best. I don't want to be number 1. I always tell Mike, I go, Mike, thank God you're number 1, because I don't want to be number 1. I want to be number 2. I want to be number 3. I don't care about that. And the other thing they have to remember, I have 2,000 dentists within a 5-block area in Manhattan. When somebody says to me, oh, where I live in Chicago is a lot of competition. I said, no, my friend, you got it all wrong. Yeah. There is absolutely no competition in dentistry. The competition that you have is in your head. It's in your head. You're the only person that is responsible for your competition. There's 5,000 dentists in Manhattan. Who am I competing with? I'm not competing with anybody. I got to be my best person. You have to be your best person. And please, I tell people, don't try to be like Mike Appa. It ain't going to work. Don't try to be like Dr. Dean. It's not going to work. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be Dr. X. Be the best Dr. X you can be. Show your staff that you care. Show the patients that you care. There's no competition. No way in dentistry. No way. You can just have a beautiful website, a beautiful presence, and make sure your website equates the office that you have. You can't have a $10,000 website and have a $2,000 office. You can't do cosmetic dentistry if your assistant has no teeth. Not good. It's not good, right? So I take care of my staff. That's my family. I have my family at home. I have my family in the office. Do the staff's teeth. Don't make them pay the lab bill. Pay the lab bill. Get a courtesy on the lab bill. Talk to your laboratory. Get everybody in the office to look beautiful. They sell cases for you. Wow, he did that case for you for free? Wow, what a great guy. What a great woman. She did that case. Your staff should have beautiful teeth. Yep. Otherwise, you don't believe in your product. You got to believe in your product.
Completely agree with you on that.
Agreed.
And also another thing is like most dentists, like a failure for, something fails and it's like the end of the world. and things happen, like I was just talking to Dr. Alfredo right now of a case of mine that I cemented like 7 months ago. And one of the bridges, cusp, non-functional cusp, fracture off. My patient sent me a picture. The first thing I said, come tomorrow, 9 a.m. We'll figure it out. We'll fix it. No big deal. It's a tooth.
No problem.
It's a porcelain that
No
broke.
problem.
Not even the tooth. It's a porcelain that broke. It can happen. So not a big
No
deal. It's
problem.
just, but I'm there for
Gotta
them,
redo
and
it.
that's the main thing.
We just had an implant fail on Monday. It was 3 years old. Now, why would a premolar implant fail after 3 years? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she's like, what happened? It was a surgeon, a bad surgeon. I go, no, he did fine. Look at the implant. It's amazing. It's a perfect implant. Everything's perfect. The occlusion was perfect. Everything was perfect. Your implant failed. Why did it fail? I don't know why it failed. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know. It happens. Here's the deal. What is your statute of limitation in your state? The statute of limitation in Florida, statute of limitation in New York is 30 months. So I own that thing for 30 months. Guess what? This thing was 37 months out. I said to the patient, listen, it's 37 months out. I'm not legally responsible to do it over, but I'm going to call the surgeon. We're going to do the implant for 50% off, and I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to charge you lab bills for the crown, but we're going to do whatever we got to do. We got to do the right thing for you. I go, it can't be free because we're past 30 months. If it was within the 30 months, you have the liability to do that for free, period. There's no discussion. So you got to know the laws, you got to know the routine, and you got to be honest with your patients. You know what she said to me? She said, Doc, no, I feel bad. It's not your fault, and I'll pay for it. I go, no, you're not going to pay for it. You're going to pay 50% for the surgery. You're going to pay the lab bill. Everybody's going to be happy. There's no reason for us to charge you. It's within 3 years. You're a great patient. We love you. Always come in for hygiene. That's it.
Yep,
Failures happen. Failures happen to all of us, guys, girls. It happens to all of you. Get ready. How you deal with it is that's your responsibility. Well, if your crown broke, we're not really responsible for it. You're gonna have to pay full fee. By the way, your staff better know the answer to that because they're calling your staff. So when they get on the phone, they're not talking to the doctor. They're talking to the office manager. Hey, Dr. Dean did this crown and it broke. Is he gonna charge me again? And then if she goes, hold on, I gotta talk to him. That's not a good sign, okay? That's not a good sign. The office manager should know the rules. Let me take a look, Joanne. Oh yeah, you did this 5 years ago. Well, it's 5 years old. I'm gonna definitely speak to Dr. Dean. I'm probably gonna give you a courtesy. It's not gonna be full fee, but there will be a fee. It's within 5 years. After 3 years. If it's within a year, no problem, Joanne. This is a year-old crown. We're gonna cover you. No, don't even think about it. Just come in. So the staff must know the rules. That's my advice. The staff must know the rules so that nobody's like hesitating. I don't know. No. You can't have that in a professional setting. You have to know the law. If something breaks, they look at the chart, they look at the timing, and they know exactly what to say. So your staff has to be trained in what to do with failure. It's a very big part of dentistry. It's part of customer service. The staff has to know the rules, not just the doctor.
That's a great example, because empathy is really important as a dentist, but also dentistry as a business. How could you differentiate between like when you started to really know your worth as a dentist?
Well, that's a great question.
We all go through this. So we all have our pivotal moments.
You gotta hear, I'm all about reality. So the reality is it takes you really 10 years. It takes you really 10 years to know your stuff. It doesn't take 20,000 hours like they say in business. No way. Dentistry's 7 years on the guy who's got a lot of talent. But I'm talking about 10 years, I actually knew what I was doing now, okay? The next 10 years, I kind of really knew how to do it well, like super, super fine-tuned of detail down to the micron. The last 10 years, I know what not to do.
Love that.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that just takes time.
I would agree.
Yeah, Dr.
That
Rosenthal.
just takes time. So we learned that from Larry. Yeah. So now we look at the patient, we're like, I'm not treating her. She's crazy. I don't care if she's going to give me $50,000. I'm not treating her. You know what I mean? So the other thing is it's a marathon. See, people think dentistry is like a sprint. I'm going to do 5 cases in 5 years or 10 cases in 5 years, and then I'm done. No, it's not. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So you got to be in this not for the quick fix, not for the $50,000 case, not for being a hero on Instagram, not for your next beautiful case. You know, I talk to my kids about baseball. Baseball, the best baseball player comes up, hits a home run, grand slam home run. The guy's a hero. The next day he strikes out. What happened? Well, that's dentistry. One day you're a hero, the next day you made a mistake, and that's okay. It's your lifetime of work and dedication to the profession. You got to dedicate it to yourself. You can't be, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to dedicate it to myself. And when you get introspective like that and stop trying to show off, all of a sudden,
Lost him.
Oh no, we got a black.
We got him black.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Like,
He's
yeah, right there.
We'll give him a minute. If not, we're gonna talk about provisionals and back in here. Oh,
So why
no.
don't you guys, Bart and Fetty, give a little while he gets back how FMR has helped you guys out.
I think piggyback on what he's saying, it's really representing the full body of work of what you do in your career that really gives you that self-worth aspect of it, and the daily grind. Not I'm gonna do X and I'm gonna do Y this and every day. It's the daily grind. Hey Dean, we got you back. Can't hear you.
Okay, we don't hear you. I think you need the
Let me
audio.
see if he has the audio.
He kind of froze again.
Oh, he has audio.
He's talking. He doesn't.
Can't hear you, Dean. Nope.
Yeah, he's driving though. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still at work.
We can see you, but we can't hear you, Doc.
It's okay. We're just gonna talk about provisionals.
Yeah.
That's the last of it. Oh, Dr. Dean, I feel bad.
I think he might have to join again, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe have us on mute or something.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know. We can have him exit and rejoin.
It froze again.
Yeah. So it's what do you think, Bart? Like the when you felt your worth like that?
So here's the thing: is I felt like I built my most speed after my 3rd year, and then I felt confident like my 5th and 6th year. But then when you start to redo your cases, your FMRs, and then your patient's like, I wanted OM1 and you gave me OM2. Take these off. And then you start going through that and you get humbled a bit because 5-7 years you feel like you're the man. And then there are a couple cases that you knocked out the park, but you have to redo. And then that humbles you and you come back and you look back at the cases like, man, how does this last thing? How does this last?
Yeah.
And
you always wonder because some patients disappear.
Yes. So you never get to follow up.
Yeah.
And it's
2 bags, guys.
Yeah.
Bag of luck and the bag of experience. That's what it is.
Seriously.
When you start, you got a big bag of luck and 0 bag of experience. You got to.
And that's why you got to take the photos.
Before it runs out.
You got to take the photos. I take photos of everything, man. You got to keep the receipts because if something goes wrong, at least I can pull it back in front of the patient. I had an implant fail. This lady was Jamaican royalty. She has a house in Miami. She would fly up. I placed a MIDI implant, took all the photos. Everything's fine. She comes back. I didn't see her 5-6 months. Started to fail. Lost like 3 millimeters of bone at the crest. I'm going over with Dr. Spodak. I'm like, dude, here are the photos. I don't even know what went wrong. CBCT, everything. I mean, I took it out. This time I bone grafted it. Didn't even, waited the 4 months. Went back in. I just placed it again last Friday. But just something.
But this is also an important aspect of it, right? So it's getting at a point in your career where you do face some failures and knowing how to fix your failures. And that's
and explaining to the patient. I mean, because none of us are 100%. I mean, not even 99%, but we're in the high 90s. But I mean, it's how you deal with the patient and just being that good, first point of contact and just demonstrating that empathy with the patient because they can get it anywhere else.
And also we got to realize that we can do so well, but we don't know what the patient does at home. So a lot of dentists, they take everything that my things fail, my crown fail. like 90% of the times we don't know what people do. You cement this beautiful case, you follow the rules, you got your occlusion right, and then your patient goes home and starts biting on rocks. Like, what are you gonna do? So it's not.
Some people have
you gotta realize
apples. Yeah,
correct. I mean it like in general. Like, we don't know what you do, so sometimes like things fail. Fix it. No big deal. Just fix it. That's it. But don't like
at the end of the day
yourself about it and things like that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, in our profession, thank God it's just a tooth. It's not a life, So, if the filling fails, it's a onlay. If the onlay fails, maybe it's a buildup and crown. If that fails, then it's a root canal. If it's the root canal fails, then it's either bridge or implant. Implant fails, then we always got other steps. Whereas, I can't imagine being in the healthcare profession. If something goes, then night night.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Do we have?
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Can you guys
you're
hear
back.
me?
Yes,
You're back.
We got you back, Doc.
Okay, sorry about that.
Amazing. That's
It's all
okay.
good.
Dr. Dean.
Is there any questions from the participants? Is there any questions like do they have on chat or anything?
Yeah, there is a chat. Well, we got some good feedback. Nice live, good advice. Let's see if we can ask some questions. No questions so far, but I wanted to ask you, what do you think is lacking in the dental industry to this day?
Oh, that's a long lecture, but I'll give you my quick 5 things. Unfortunately, the dental education, my daughter's in dental school now. She's in 2nd year dental school. So I'm getting, and I have like 5 or 6 dental students that help me out in the office. So I'm very keen on NYU, NSU, UPenn, and Tufts University education. I'm very, very close to seeing what they learn. So unfortunately, they can't get the experience in dental school. So that's number 1 problem. Number 2 problem is they can't get it even in residency. Maybe do another 10, 15 crowns in dentistry and residency. So that's a problem. The education is right. It's not going to get better. It's never going to get fixed. It is what it is. The second problem in dentistry is obviously the DSO market, which is it's a good thing. There's a lot of good that they do. They provide jobs for a lot of people. The bad thing is it gets the dentists into a rut, and they wake up 5 years later and they're in trouble because now they got loans and they're miserable and they hate dentistry and they just now they're just frustrated. So that's one kind of reality that's happening. And they get very depressed. During COVID, you had DSOs, firing dentists. It was really bad. There's no camaraderie there, and there's no family kind of take care of your own. So that's the second problem. The third problem is, like you said, you asked me about provisionals. Nobody has taught the dentals how to do provisionals. We have a provisional course that we teach. Every dentist, even students, we've given it to students. We had 180 students taking a provisional course. They all went crazy. They were so happy that they got to learn how to do a provisional. So anterior aesthetic provisional.
And that's your business card, right, Dr. Dean?
I'm sorry?
The provisional is your business card. That is literally.
Yeah. That's my little lecture. The provisional is your business card. So one thing is doing provisionals decently. One thing is doing provisionals at a high level, which Aesthetic Advantage teaches that all the time. But again, that's just one time. You get to kind of see it once or twice. To really get to know the nuances of provisionals, it took me. I'm going to tell you something right now. It took me 4 years. 4 years with Dr. Larry to get my provisionals to his level, which is insane. His eye-hand coordination is like no other. There's nobody better than Larry Rosenthal, period. So, but I took a little bit of that and said, well, let me teach, the doctors a little bit of that. And we have follow-up courses with provisionals. So that's another lost art that's very important to be a great cosmetic dentist. And then the good thing about dentistry that it has done for our profession is CE. The CE has obviously, for those who want to learn, obviously has taken their quality to a really, really great level. And that's the good part about what we do. And now with podcasts and all the other stuff that you have going on. Hold on a second. I'm just coming into my place. 1 second.
We also have some questions from some participants right now.
Cool. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just park the car. Thank you, guys. You keep it up front. You got to keep the car up front, right?
You got a valet at your house, Dr. D?
Got to keep the car in front. All right, thanks a lot. Where can they go where it's quiet? All right, so that being said, the CE is like the saving grace, and that's why I'm involved in it. I believe that that the CE that you guys are doing, the podcast, the questions, all these wonderful aesthetic advantage, John Coyce. I mean, you're going to get the 5 or 10% of dentists that really going to invest the money. And I think that's a great thing, because now you got at least an avenue that you have some chance to become a great dentist. And again, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to work so hard to be a great dentist. It's not their hobby. Yeah. Some people want to just, they want to play golf. They want to race their cars. They want to do other things, and fishing, whatever they want to do. And that's fine. I never knock anybody for not taking classes. Right? That's what they want to do. But if you do, that's the whole thing. If you're one of those 10% that really want to learn, hey, man, there's a lot of places to learn. So God bless the people who really, really work hard to teach. Again, like FMR, John Coyce, Frank Spear, Larry Rosenthal, Mike Appa. These guys teach. I mean, look at Bart. Bart comes to New York twice a year. He's a great teacher. I mean, we all learn. But either way, when you teach, you learn. So we learn stuff, too, that we see a case, we're like, well, I didn't know how you could do it that way. So when you're in education as a whole, you're going to learn a lot of stuff from each other. And that's the way we foster our dentists. Everybody who comes to FMR has the opportunity, and Oscar has this, and Dr. Alfred has this, they have the opportunity to be teachers. If you go through the level, we give you an opportunity to become a teacher. So the people at FMR, when they give their presentations, they're like, I've been in this for like 5 years, and now I'm teaching. And like, I never thought I'd be teaching. So again, you're perpetuating the concept of helping other people. That just goes on forever and ever. And it comes from inside. It comes from your soul. You love what you do. You want to be better. You want to teach other people to be better. You love when other people do better. There's no competition. There's other dentists taking FMR. They're in New York City. I'm not competing with them. I'm giving them all my tricks. I'm not competing with them. You know what I'm saying? So they're learning how to do their. I'm happy when they succeed. I don't get upset when somebody just has a $100,000 case. I don't say, why didn't I get the case? No, my friend called me. He goes, hey, I got $100,000. I go, great, that's awesome. We help each other. There's no competition. And if your mindset is like that, you can grow to such levels that you can't even imagine. Once you let yourself go with that crazy dental mentality.
Yeah, we need to stick together as dentists. Honestly.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah, we have one last question from the participants, if you don't mind. So someone asked, how has the popularity of veneers affected the industry?
Oh my God, incredible.
Right?
Think about this. I'm going to give you three main facts. The toothpaste whitening business is a $2 billion business. They're doing the marketing for us. Number one. Number two, you got people like who are doing aesthetic dentistry on Instagram. People talk about that all the time. It's automatic. Our profession is so much better than plastic surgeons and medical doctors right now. We are such a great profession. And again, 30 years ago, they put us in the corner. They said, you dentists, you guys are over there in the corner. You guys are over there. We don't care about you. And the doctors were the big deal. Guess what? Next to these big celebrity houses is one or two dentists living next to
That's right.
next to my patient, Vafiadis. All right. We have some celebrity patients. There's a dentist living next to them. Okay. We're making a lot of money and we're changing people's lives and we love it. And we have a great attitude about it. And guess what? You could do all the plastic surgery in your face. If your teeth are ugly, you're ugly. You're ugly. Okay? If you never done to your nose and nothing Botox and you got your teeth done, you look 10 years younger immediately.
That's right.
That is very true.
That's a selling point. I say that to the young ladies and I go, you're a beautiful woman, but your teeth are like a 5. You got to get your teeth done.
Because they only have 5, right?
Walk around with those teeth.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a wrap.
All right. Good timing. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Dean. And
Dr. Dean, thank you so
everyone
much.
has questions, please follow Dental Talk 360. Dr. Dean will include all the information and take his FMR course.
We're going to have a QR code with all the FMR information.
Our code at DMC, and then I'll also, if they want to email me directly, it's Dr. Dean, Dr. Dean17 at gmail.com. Dr. Dean17 at gmail.com.
Okay, we're going to make a post on it, and all that information is going to be there. If you guys want to join FMR.
Cases, believe me, we have hundreds of doctors that send me photos. If they need help with their case, we'll help them with their case. If I get x-rays and photos, no problem doing a treatment plan for them. It's a really great service that we give for free. We don't charge anybody. It's awesome.
Which is why it's like a family and why it's so incredible to be a part of it. So thank you so much, Dr. Dean.
Thank
and
you.
Excited for everyone to be able to be part of FMR and see how amazing it is.
And FYI, it's Thursday night out, so we're going to have fun today.
Make it happen. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Dean.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.